Hello and welcome back to another YouTube video. Hi, I'm Speeder. Okay, welcome back. Today I'm going to be filming something that I haven't filmed for a few weeks now, and that is a Keeper the Books video for the side character tournament. We are now in the semi-finals of the side character tournament, the first round of the semi-finals. We only have 4 characters remaining. We're almost done with this, and I have almost an hour to film this, so I don't think it will take that long, but let's get into it. Basically, if you haven't seen an episode of the Side Character Tournament before, first of all, you should go watch the previous ones, because, assuming that you read the series that the characters are included in, because that'll give you some more context to how these specific characters got there. Let me give you an overview of the previous rounds. So, we had, in the first round, the entry round, we had Luna Lovegood from Harry Potter versus Lin Song from Keeper of the Lost Cities. Lin won. We had Dex Disney from Keeper of the Lost Cities versus Fred Weasley from Harry Potter. Dex won. Then we had Nico D'Angelo from Percy Jackson and the Olympians and the Heroes of the Olympus and the Trials of Apollo. Though I'm not sure if I had Trials of Apollo included on that one. Versus Annabeth Chase from Percy Jackson and the Olympians and the Heroes of Olympus. Annabeth won. Then we had Tam Song from Keeper of the Lost Cities versus Biana Vacker from Keeper of the Lost Cities. Biana won. Then we had Imogen from The Ascendants versus Keith Sensen from Keeper of the Lost Cities. Keith won. Then we had Hermione Granger from Harry Potter versus Leo Valdez from the Heroes of Olympus and the Trials of Apollo. Hermione won. Then we had Holt from Ranger's Apprentice, The Royal Ranger, and Early Years versus Ginny Weasley from Harry Potter. Holt won. Then we had Rodin from The Ascendants versus Jason Grace from the Heroes of Olympus and the Trials of Apollo. Rodin won. And in the quarterfinals, we had Lin Song versus Dex Disney. Dex won. Annabeth Chase versus Biana Vacker. Annabeth won. Keith Sensen versus Hermione Granger. Keith won. And Holt versus Rodin. Holt won. So in the semifinals, this round is Dex Disney from Keeper of the Lost Cities versus Annabeth Chase from Percy Jackson and the Olympians and the Heroes of Olympus. So that'll be including books 1 through 8.5 of Keeper of the Lost Cities, and books 1 through 5 of Percy Jackson and the Olympians, and books 1 through 5 of the Heroes of Olympus, plus maybe some context from like book 1 of Trials of Apollo. So this video will contain spoilers for the entirety of the Keeper of the Lost City series, as well as Percy Jackson and the Olympians, the Heroes of Olympus, and the first 3 books of Trials of Apollo. I have not read book 4 yet, but I do have it checked out from the library now, and it's the second one on my list after I finish Lord of Chaos. But anyways, let's get into it, I suppose. If you haven't seen one of these before, basically, I've paired these two up after several other rounds, and I judge them off of these 4 things. First of all, their importance to the story, their relationship with the main character, their realisticness, so how realistic are they, and my own personal preference, which is both the least important and most important factor. Least important in the original deciding, but it could also be the deciding factor in the end. Anyways, so, yeah, I think our intro has been long enough. Let's get into it. Okay. Oh yeah, and at the end we'll compare them and see who goes into the finals, Dex or Annabeth. And they'll face off against either Keith or Holt. Alright, so starting with Dex, this one's going to be a little bit of a shorter round since we've already gone over most things in the first 2 rounds. Since this is the 3rd round, it shouldn't take as long. Okay, so importance to the story. First we have Dex. So Dex's importance to the story, as I've said before, he's very important in the first few books, especially the first book. He's Sophie's best friend and everything, but once we get later into the series, he is less important. He's kind of just becomes a background character, which is a little upsetting, I have to say, because it feels like Shannon Messenger just kind of forgets about him. But he's very important in the first few books and then becomes a lot less important later on. As for his relationship with the main character, he is Sophie's best friend, as she says, though it doesn't always feel like they're best friends. But I feel like his relationship with Sophie is good until she finds out that he likes her, and then we have the really awkward kiss where she kisses him to make him believe that he doesn't actually like her, which she turns out to be right about. And things are really awkward after that, which makes their relationship a little more rocky, which is unfortunate. As for Dex's realisticness, I feel like he's a decently realistic character. He has emotions that we can clearly see, and we can see the motives behind them. He's a very well-developed character in the first few books. We can see his jealousy towards people like Fitz and most of the Vacker family. And we see just a lot of really real emotions, and we see that he's also not just Sophie is affected by the trauma of the end of the first book, but he is also affected by the trauma of that. Yeah, that's all I really have to say on him for this video. As for Annabeth, her importance to the story is pretty big. She is there in almost every book. Actually, I think she's there in every book. In Percy Jackson and the Olympians and the Heroes of Olympus, and she's also mentioned in Trials of Apollo Book 1, so she's always there. But she's always kind of in the first series. Okay, in the first series, Percy Jackson and the Olympians, she is part of the main trio, which only really lasts for one book, maybe two, and then she's part of the main team in Percy Jackson and the Olympians, and she is Percy's right hand and eventually girlfriend. And in Heroes of Olympus, she's one of the seven. So one of the seven people, one of the seven demigods who is vital to stop Gaia or Gaia or something. However you say her name, I'm not sure honestly. And she's the planner. She's basically the captain of the Argo 2. Well, not quite, but kind of. She's just kind of alongside Percy the whole time and kind of pulling the strings in her own way, being the planner. We have the relationship with the main character, that being I'm counting it as Percy Jackson or Apollo as main characters here. And since she doesn't really have any reactions with Apollo in Trials of Apollo as far as we've seen, she does have many interactions with Percy. Obviously, they are in a romantic relationship, which I love, and it's my favorite ship of all time. But I feel like their relationship is good. It's healthy. They're very supportive of each other. They have a very good relationship all throughout both series, which I love. As for realisticness, again, I think Annabeth is also a very realistic character. We can see that she has real emotions. She has real issues. She's a very well developed character, and we can see that in book 4 of Heroes of Olympus in Tartarus. She's not always. I may be getting my facts wrong here because it's been a little bit. It's been maybe 6 months to a year since I read Heroes of Olympus, but she was never the most. She was never someone to get overly emotional. She was very focused, but at the same time she has emotions that are understandable, and she's a very well developed character. It's a little confusing, especially for someone like me who has sometimes a really great memory and sometimes a really bad memory. And right now I have a really bad memory, so I am struggling with this a little bit. But yeah, I feel like she's a decently realistic character. Anyways, now for comparison time. Okay, so importance to the story, I think this one pretty clearly goes to Annabeth. She's always there, unlike Dex. She's always involved in the main plan, and she's extremely important to the story throughout all of it, whereas Dex, he's important in the first few books. He lessens importance later on. At least so far. As for relationship with the main character, I'm again going to give this one to Annabeth, simply because I feel like her relationship with Percy is healthy, it's good, and while they have had their rocky spots as well, it's a good, healthy relationship with two people who love each other, which is good. As for Dex and Sophie, they have a lot of stumbling blocks, and they're not always on the best of terms later on, which is a little upsetting. And as for realisticness, I'm going to give this one a tie because I can remember all of the realistic moments for Dex, but I can't as well with Annabeth. I know that she has them. I just can't think of specifics at this moment, so I'm going to give that one a tie. And then for my own personal preference, this one automatically goes to Annabeth, who is one of my favorite characters of all time. I love you, Dex, but Annabeth, you are my favorite. So that settles it. Annabeth Chase is now the winner of this round of the side character tournaments, and she will be in the finale, the final. She will be in the final, facing off against someone. It'll be either Kiefer Holtz. We'll see who next time. Now for my next 4 videos. For Keeper the Books, we have next time is Keith Sensen from Keeper the Lost Cities versus Holt from Ranger's Apprentice, Royal Ranger, and the Early Years. Next will be Annabeth versus whoever wins that next round, which will be the final of the side character tournament. And then we will start our new tournaments, the villain tournaments, starting with round 1, Dr. Hatch from Michael Vey versus Yasin Grigorovich from Alex Ryder. And then we have Lady Gisela from Keeper the Lost Cities. I did say there would be spoilers in this video for Keeper, so you can't blame me for that. Versus Morgorath from Ranger's Apprentice. So yeah, that's my next 4 videos for this channel. As for Keeper of the Movies, it should be the Dragon Prince Season 3 Episode 5 review, the Dragon Prince Season 3 Episode 6 review, the Dragon Prince Season 3 Episode 7 review, and the Dragon Prince Season 3 Episode 8 review. As for Keeper of the Games, it should just be a bunch of Breath of the Wild videos. I have a backlog of that, though I cannot currently make videos for with the Switch because I'm still having some problems with my setup. But anyways, that's all I have for today. I will see you guys next time. Bye.